Hello students, once again I am in front of you to start with section 2, that is poetry 2.1. I have already written the name of that poem, Song of the Open Road. It is written by Walt Whitman. But before that, let me tell you about the text which I have already mentioned in my first lecture. The video will come to you, that is the Astrologer's Day 1.1. It will come to you after some time. But let me tell you that the textbook is divided into 4 sections. That is, section 1 is prose, section 2 is poetry, section 3 is writing skill, and section 4 is genre, drama. So you have to do careful reading of section 1 as well as section 2. Then regarding writing skill, you'll have to pay more attention regarding practicing those skills, because when we check the board papers, we come to know that when the writing section comes, the student either they try to scrap through it, somehow they try to finish the writing skill section because lack of practice, or they don't know the rules regarding how to write a report, or how to summarize, or how to expand an idea, etc. Then coming back to the 4th section, that is the drama section. Here you will also have to read those dramas line by line. Why? Because you will not get help. So as compared to section 1, section 2, you will have poetry, poems, passages, so that you can read those passages and complete the activities. But in the writing skill also you will get points to complete those topics given in the question paper. But section 4, that is drama, there you will have to read the dramas carefully so that you can attempt the questions. There questions will be there. You have to attempt those questions regarding plot, structure, theme, justify the character, write the character sketch. Like those questions will be asked to you. So careful reading of the text is important. The texts are available in the market. Go and buy them and start reading those sections one by one. So today's topic, which I have already written on the board, that is section 2 of your English textbook, Song of the Open Road. It is written by Walt Whitman. So Walt Whitman was born on 1819 and he died in 1892. Means 72 years of, at the age of 72 he died. He was an American poet, essayist, journalist. Whitman is among the most influential poets in the American canon and is often called father of free verse. Now there are some poems written in free verse. Free verse means there is no rhyme scheme or rhythm as such in those poems. He grew up in Huntington in a family with difficult economic status. So you'll come across all these people, writers, novelists, dramatists. So their condition was not so good. So they belong to a difficult economic status. Now his work, Leaves of Grass, was published in 1855. Then his poem, O Captain, My Captain, is written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, is popular. Then one more poem is there, When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloom. So these poems were written in memory of American President Abraham Lincoln. Then Ezra Pound, the one more poet, he has rightly called Whitman as America's poet. He is America. If you want to learn more about America, you have to read Walt Whitman. Then the section 1 of the Song of the Open Road. This poem is divided into 2 sections. So section 1 is from the Leaves of Grass, that is the collection of that poem called Leaves of Grass, and from that this section is taken, that is the first section of your poem. Now it is a beautiful blend of self-awareness. Now as a student, You should be aware of yourself. Then free will. We must have freedom to do what we wish or what we will, and tenderness of heart. It gives us poets realization that along the journey of life, one will have to face a test of wisdom which is not tested in any school or university. Now here the poet is talking about wisdom. Okay. Now knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Knowledge you can get in schools, you can get in universities, you can get in colleges. But wisdom, what about wisdom? What is wisdom? How it is different from knowledge? So I can give an example of, in the Bible it is written like this. There was a king called King Solomon. And God asked him, you ask what you want. And King Solomon didn't ask for wealth or money or position or status. But he said, God, please give me wisdom. In Marathi, we call it Shahanpana. So here, the wisdom is different from knowledge. It comes from God. In short, we can say, knowledge comes from books and wisdom comes from God. It makes us understand what is good and what is bad for us. Now, road is something everyone uses. The name of the poem, you know, Open Road. Now, road is used by everyone, rich as well as poor. Now, in this poem, the poet wants to tell us about the democratic values, equality. Whether rich or poor, and it forces all levels of people to associate with one another. So there is no discrimination regarding rich and poor, all are equal. So he tries to give us some democratic values through this poem. Road signifies mobility. Mobility means change. One can take the road as a point to start over towards something new. With the help of this road or with the help of mobility or change, we can take a new path. Instead of standing at one place, we should start doing something new. We should start your journey. Whitman talks about the people and places. He argues against staying in one places. He doesn't believe in stationary things. He wants that people should keep on changing themselves. So change is the law of nature, and we should keep on changing, although the hospitality may be true. So this is a short introduction of Whitman and his views. Then we start with the poem, Song of the Open Road. Now, when do we sing? When we are happy, when we are not under pressure, any tension or botheration. At that time we sing a song. So the poem goes like this. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road. Here again you are asked to guess the meaning of that word called afoot. Yes, you are right. Afoot means on foot. And he takes a journey on the open road. Means he doesn't take anybody's help. No vehicle is there to take on the journey. No mode of transport. No help. Afoot. He is on his foot and he is light-hearted. Light-hearted means he is satisfied. He is not under anybody's pressure. He is controlling his own life on his own. I take to the open road. Now, what does this road symbolize? It signifies mobility or journey of life. Healthy, free, the world before me. So in front of him, the world is healthy, free. There are no restrictions. There are no boundaries. So like that. Now, as students are in pressure nowadays, no? like what will be my results, or what kind of faculty I'll go into, or what kind of jobs I'll apply for. So because of that you get depressed, you get tension. So instead of thinking about the future, or instead of thinking about your uh, results and exams, you should live in present. That means you should start working. Instead of thinking about the past, instead of thinking about the future, about the results, about the exams, you should start your journey. You should start working. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. So there is freedom, freedom of movement. The writer, the poet is free to move at any place, at any time, without any botheration, without any limitations. So these lines, they make us think whether I am guided by somebody else, whether somebody is dictating me. Is there any dictator in my life who tries to say might is right? So the poet makes us think that what kind of life should I have? He is trying to make us aware. Self-realization. So self-reliant. He wants a person to be self-reliant, not depending on others. He has to choose his own journey and his own path. So the long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. He is free. He is free to go at any place, at any time. Henceforth, I ask not good fortune. I myself good fortune. Means here the poet is strong enough to make his luck. He doesn't believe in fortune as such. He believes in himself. He is not searching for material success. Like we all do, no? Maximum people, they are in search of jobs and fat salary and big bungalow like that. But here the poet says, I ask not for good fortune. I myself am good fortune. So he's not materialistic kind of person. Henceforth, no more whimper, no more postpone, no more need nothing. When we get sad, unhappy, then we desire for something, and when we don't get the expected thing, then we become unhappy. So here the poet says, I whimper no more. Whimper means make series of low, weak cries, especially with fear and pain. When we are afraid, when we are in fear, when we are in pain, we whimper. So he says, I don't have any pain. I am fearless person, and that is why I don't postpone things. I do the things at the right time. Need nothing. I don't need anything. I don't think any materialistic things in my life. Done with indoor complaints. Nor he complains, nor he grumbles. So God also doesn't like the people who keep on complaining, who keep on grumbling. I don't have this, I don't have that. So you don't complain. Like now you have students who have come in 12th standard. Last few months we are suffering from these pandemic diseases. And then you may not be able to study hard as there were no texts available in the market. But you don't grumble, you don't think about the past. You start. You start where you are, where you stand. Without complaining, grumbling, you start your work, start your hard work. Libraries, querulous criticism. Querulous means complaining, showing that one is irritated. So all these things the poet tries to avoid. He is free. He doesn't want to complain. He is not afraid. He is fearless. There is no botheration. There is no dictator who is dictating him that do this, do that, like that. So he doesn't complain, or he doesn't have criticism. He doesn't criticize anybody. And that is why, because of all these things, the poet is strong. What he says? Strong and content. Content means satisfied. I travel the open road. He is contented, he is satisfied. So how can we make India a poverty-free nation? I read the lesson. In that the writer, he has very nicely mentioned that how can we make India poverty-free. So in that he said that we should not ask for subsidy. So people, what they do, they want a subsidy on this, on that, and because of that, what happens? They don't work hard. If we stop asking for subsidy, if we stop asking for concession, then naturally what will happen? People will start working more harder, and that way we can make our nation poverty free. So here the poet says, I don't expect anything from anyone. I am strong, I am content, I am satisfied. I travel the open road. Means I change myself. I am free. The journey of life is without any restrictions. The earth, that is sufficient. Earth is sufficient for you. That is, the road is sufficient for you. Then next page he says, I don't want the constellations any nearer. Now constellations means, in your text it is given fate or destiny or influential groups of people. So many meanings come out of that particular word called constellations. But here the true meaning is that he doesn't desire to reach the stars. He has no desire to reach the stars in the universe. In short, we can say, or we may say, that he doesn't want the company of influential people. So when we go through this poem line by line, our attitude towards this poem changes. It makes us think, that we should have freedom. We should not complain, nor we should try to be in the company of influential people or famous people. So see, that's why he says, I don't want constellation. Constellation means influential people. Now he is happy to be separated from others. He is happy that he is not in the company of famous people. On the other hand, he likes to stay alone. I know they are very well where they are. Means they are fine whatever they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. This is sufficient. There is no need or adequacy or sufficiency in his life. So this is the first section of the poem. It is of 15 lines. We have studied 15 lines of the poem, but then you'll find after 15 lines there are 5 lines, which is the parenthesis. Parenthesis means those lines are given in the bracket. So we are going to study those lines in our last section, that is the last section which is added. We call it parenthesis, means it is given in bracket. But he says, still here I carry my old delicious burdens. Now how the burdens can be delicious? Means we always try to get rid of the burdens. We don't want problems in our life. So this is the afterthought of the poet. The poem would have ended on the 15th line, but then he adds 5 lines. He adds additional 5 lines in the poem. Still here I carry my old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. So he doesn't want to get rid of the problems or burdens. He wants to carry them with him. He is happy to carry the burdens with him. Wherever I go, I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. So he's a common man. He has his, like we have all problems, burdens. Like that, this poet Walt Whitman says that he also has the problems, but he carried them with him. Means they are delicious type of burdens. He uses the word delicious. And wherever I go, I carry them. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I cannot get rid of my problems. They are always with me. And I am happy that my life is full of problems. I am filled with them and I will fill them in return. So this is what the poem is in short. Means the poet makes us think that you should take your journey of life without anybody's interference. Then he says that I don't complain or grumble. Then he says I'm satisfied because I don't expect anything from anyone, and he's very self-reliant type of person. Then he doesn't like to mix with the influential people, that is constellations. Then he says in the last that parenthesis, he says I have my burdens, I carry them and I am happy. So that is what the poem is in short. Thank you.